Hey everyone, this is Sam Warren with the Houston Chronicle, and I'm back with another Texans film review. This time I broke down how Houston stopped Travis Kelce in Sunday night's huge win over the Chiefs. Kelce had burnt the Texans in past matchups and was a big reason Kansas City beat them in the playoffs last year. But the tight end had just one catch for 8 yards on Sunday, his lowest total this season and his second fewest receiving yards since 2018. So let's get into how they limited the future Hall of Famer. The main way that the Texans were able to stop Kelce was with their physicality on Sunday night. If you go back, you watch the divisional round loss from a year ago when Kelce had 117 yards and a touchdown against the Texans, you'll see that he wasn't really running through contact at all, wasn't getting touched on his routes. And that allowed for him to run through a lot of green grass, make a lot of plays in the open field, and make a lot of plays after the catch, which ultimately made him a big factor in why the Texans lost that game. He also had the game-winning touchdown in that game. So the Texans on Sunday night, though, made a concerted effort to contact Kelce early and often, make him bring his physicality to make plays. And ultimately, he just didn't do that. So we'll see that here early on this early third down in the first quarter, where the Chiefs are in this kind of empty look, third and fourth situation, and Kelce's here on the interior. So the Texans are going to match this with kind of an off man look. So they're not pressed up. They aren't jamming Kelce off the line, but they're still able to bring some contact here legally and throw Kelce off his route and get him out of Patrick Mahomes' progression here. So what we'll see is the Texans kind of in this off man. Azeez Al-Shire is going to be the man that's responsible for Kelce here. And Kelce's going to kind of run this shake here with the slant route, and he's going to go inside. But Azeez, if we start here, so Azeez is kind of right at that border of the 5 yard downfield contact line where you're kind of able to make contact legally as a defender with receivers running routes. And Azeez is going to kind of notice that and look right here. He kind of just takes this little step up. So he's in the legal zone here. And then he's going to get his hands on Kelce, plays with good inside leverage, knows that kind of this route is going to come over the middle. That's where Kelce does a lot of his damage. But he brings his hands to Kelce, throws him off the route. And what that does here is also with Azeez walking up, we're going to see that it's a third and fourth situation. Kelce's going to be short of the line to gain here. So Mahomes really wants to throw Kelce here. He knows that he's kind of his most reliable target in third down situations. But because Kelce is short, he has a linebacker on him who's going to be a sure tackler, bring him down, probably short of the line to gain. Kelce's just not going to be able to make this throw here. So Kelce's going to have to try and work on to Rashee Rice. And what that does is it just kind of creates a little bit of hesitation here. And with the Texans' pressure, kind of getting after that backup Chiefs offensive line that they were employing last night because of a lot of their injuries. Danico Autry is able to get a hand up here. Texans offense or defensive line get some push here. Mahomes is going to catch this ball. It's going to be a negative 10-yard gain. Doesn't really matter. Texans get a stop here. They force a punt on the Chiefs' second drive of the game. And this just kind of sets the tone for how the Texans are going to play Kelce the entire night with their physicality. So here's some more physicality from the Texans defense on Travis Kelce in coverage. So we're going to see him down here with Kamari Lassiter on him. And the Texans used a bunch of different defenders on Kelce throughout the night. They used corners like Lassiter, Derek Stingley Jr. They used Al-Shire linebackers. They even used, nickels like Jalen Petrie, who wasn't available for that playoff game last year. So he was a big difference maker in guarding him as well. But Kelce is not going to be the first read on this play. Mahomes, it's another third and medium kind of situation here with the Chiefs kind of deep in Texans territory. So big play on this situation. The first read is going to be kind of this bunch formation down here and the concept that they run. So what we'll see with Mahomes is he's going to look down here, and the Texans are playing a cover one match look in this where Petrie is going to take the outside. Derek Stingley kind of takes the number 2, and Kalen Bullock takes pretty much anything inside here. They do a really good job of covering all this up, do a really good stop of Petrie kind of taking anything short here. This route is kind of short of the line, too risky to throw. Derek Stingley sticky in coverage here. Rashee Rice with kind of 2 defenders on him, with Bullock carrying with him a little bit, Miles Bryant over the top here. So really nothing for Mahomes to throw, and he kind of realizes that pretty quickly by diagnosing this coverage down here. So good stuff from the Texans secondary. So now Mahomes has to work into his second read and everything going on. And his second read is going to be Travis Kelce down here trying to look back to the backside of this formation. But we're going to see more physical play where you've got a corner really outmatched size-wise. But look at Kamari just kind of pressing Travis Kelce off the line, getting some hands on him. really being really physical. And Kamari's probably one of the more physical corners in this league, so he's up to the challenge with a tight end like this. But this is just going to really impressive stuff with being physical within that 5 yard legal zone, being sticky in coverage, making sure that Travis Kelce isn't going to break away in this situation. So look at this. Kelce probably wants to get to the line to the gain on this route, but he's like a good 2 yards short. So Mahomes really can't throw this, one, because Kelce's short, and two, because Kamari Lassiter's draped all over him. So he looks at this and he just can't really do anything. So now we're kind of stuck in a scramble drill situation here. Mahomes feels the pocket collapsing a little bit, and just because of the chemistry that Mahomes and Kelce have, Kelce's able to diagnose this pretty quickly, get into scramble drill rules. And how many times have we seen Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes make plays like this, where play breaks down, Kelce kind of finds that little zone where he can settle down and get open for Mahomes to make a play, for them to get a conversion, make a big play, get a touchdown, things of the sort. But Kamari is just kind of in his back pocket this whole time. Kelce can't break free from the corner, and just he's not able to settle anywhere. Pretty much this entire time he's covered up, and because of that, Mahomes doesn't have his safety valve on this play, and the pocket's just really going to break down while he's looking for him. He has nowhere where to scramble, and eventually, Danico Autry and Sheldon Rankins are going to kind of combine for the sack here, and that's just a really big play by this Texans defense. That leads to the Harrison Butker missed field goal in the situation. So there's just a little bit over a minute left in the first half on this thing, and that's a missed field goal, and ultimately the Texans are able to shut out the Chiefs in the first half. And I think that was the first time the Chiefs have been shut out in the first half since 2018. So really good stuff by the Texans defense to handle Mahomes in that first half. But specifically, it's because of plays like this against Travis Kelce, where they're not really able to work off schedule. They're playing sticky in coverage. They're being physical with the tight end, and taking away kind of that good option for Mahomes to have in these critical situations. The physicality continued with Kelce in the second half and in these kind of critical third and fourth down situations. So we're here midway through the third quarter, in a third and fourth situation, and the Chiefs are going to try and go after Kelce again, because he's kind of their safety valve in these situations. That's the guy that they want to get the ball to because he's trusty, has made those plays time and time again with Mahomes. They have that chemistry, but they're not going to be able to make it because of the physicality from Jalen Petrie covering him here in the slot as that nickel defender. So what we'll see is the Chiefs are spread out kind of in this 3-by-1 look here, and the Texans are going to be playing a Tampa 2 coverage. So what that does is you have Tyquan Thornton running the seam route here, and that's going to take the Tampa 2 linebacker, Azeez Al-Shaair, with him kind of up the seam. And what that does is that opens up middle space over the middle, with Azeez vacating to carry with that receiver. So that opens up a lot for these crossing routes, slants, drags, glance routes, that the Chiefs, can succeed with, and specifically can succeed with Travis Kelce, going up against defenders. But what we'll see here is with this Tampa 2, Jalen Petrie is responsible for kind of that underneath zone, but he's going to carry with Travis Kelce kind of over the middle of the field here. And just look at the physicality that Petrie brings kind of all the way down the field. This is legal. He's still within that area, that 5 yard kind of legal contact zone. He kind of gets on the border here. And what that does is that makes, Patrick Mahomes try and draw a flag here. But the referees are going to side with Jalen Petrie. He's playing clean. He's playing physical. He has his hands on him, but he's not grabbing or anything. So that's going to trip up Mahomes. That's going to trip up Kelce. He's just really not going to have the opportunity to make a play here. He gets thrown off his route because of what Jalen Petrie is bringing to the table on this play. He kind of, gets turned around. Mahomes is going to try and kind of dirt this ball to get some attention from the referees, but they're not going to really give him anything. So Jalen Petrie really forces the issue with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on this play. They're looking for that contact there with that ball down. You see Travis Kelce looking at the refs, asking for some help here, but because Petrie is playing legally, he's playing within that contact zone. He's not grabbing. He's not providing any illegal contacts. The physicality that the Texans bring is totally legal in this situation, and ultimately it resolves in another Chiefs punt, which is huge for this Texans defense. Houston's strong defense against Kelce didn't just exist in that 5 yard window near the line of scrimmage. They also made some really nice coverage plays against the tight end downfield. And we're going to see one of those here early in the fourth quarter on a 1st and 10. And this is a really pivotal drive for the Chiefs because the game's now tied. The Texans are a little bit on their heels with their offense not really being able to do anything. So the Chiefs have a chance to go down and take their first lead of the game. But that doesn't start off great because of some great play from Azeez Al-Shaair on Travis Kelce here. So what we'll see is the Chiefs are going to run this kind of play action look, and the Texans are going to counter it with a kind of a rolled cover 3 look when they have Kamari Lassiter on this delayed cap blitz. They're going to have these two safeties and Derek Stingley kind of drop into this cover 3. But so what we'll see, this play action, Mahomes is going to have time because of that play action. The pressure isn't really getting home yet with Kamari kind of on this delayed blitz. So he has time to make a play here. He has time to look downfield. But let's take a look at Azeez on Kelce up here. So this is cover 3. He's kind of playing down with that underneath zone. He's going to carry with Kelce a little bit. So Azeez is going to has eyes on Kelce, but he also has a really good cognitive vision in here, play recognition here. While he's looking at Kelce, he kind of has in peripheral Tyquan Thornton here running downfield, and he sees Thornton kind of break inside, make a little bit of that in cut here, and just by having that play recognition skill and kind of noticing route concepts, things of the sort, Azeez is going to be able to decipher that, and he's just going to jump out here looking for Kelce to make kind of this outcut into open space. But by him kind of playing the outside here, he takes away anything that Kelce can kind of run out, and Kelce's only option is to really sit on this. So Mahomes could throw this, but he's just kind of thrown off a little bit by Azeez playing this really well. Doesn't end up making this throw, and ultimately with that strong coverage, that allows Kamari Lassiter to get home and get through this pressure. I mean, through this protection here. So Kamari gets home on Mahomes, and really Mahomes' only option here is to dirt the ball. So this is just kind of a combination of a lot of things that DeMeco Ryans has talked about with the combination of rush and coverage. The rush didn't get home initially, but because Azeez is kind of being that cerebral player, picking up on things that the Chiefs could be running, that causes a little bit of hesitation for Mahomes, doesn't hit Kelce with kind of that route thrown off, and ends up having to dirt the ball on 1st and 10. So that's setting the Chiefs back, and that's big for this Texans defense when, the Chiefs are kind of gaining momentum here. The other ways that the Texans were able to stop Kelce were by getting help from their other units, and also by getting some help from Kelce and Mahomes themselves. So this is 3 plays later after that 1st and 10 dirting of the ball by Mahomes. And this is that pivotal 4th and 1 situation where Andy Reid decides to go for it on his own 31-yard line. So the Chiefs are going to run this kind of quads formation here, and the Texans are going to match this with man coverage. But so as we see this play kind of play out pre-play, we'll see Henry To'oTo'o go with this motion by Hollywood Brown here. And then as he kind of goes back across the field, we're going to see Henry kind of run with Hollywood Brown. But we'll also see Azeez Al-Shaair here kind of run with Hollywood Brown. And it kind of looks like they both feel like they have him in man coverage. And what that does is by them, Azeez is able to adjust after this. But by both of them kind of going after Hollywood in this moment, that's going to leave open Travis Kelce in this situation by Azeez kind of leaving this post, not really having anybody over the middle of the ball, and also some other guys out of the situation. So it looks like Jalen Petrie is probably the man that should be guarding Travis Kelce in this situation, but he's a little bit too far out in this situation too. So Travis Kelce is pretty much wide open on this play right now in this moment, and being able to be that playmaker, that safety valve for Patrick Mahomes in this 4th and 1 situation where he's kind of succeeded so many times before. But Mahomes never sees Kelce on this play because of the pressure that the Texans defense is able to get. We go back to the start of this play. Watch Will Anderson Jr. just kind of take advantage of this backup right tackle here. He gets around the edge. This is one of his 7 pressures on the night. He's able to get kind of in Mahomes' grill before any of these breaks kind of really happen. So Mahomes is having to flee kind of out of a clean pocket immediately, doesn't see Kelce break open. He's just kind of in survival mode now, trying to make anything happen downfield. He's going to see Rashee Rice here kind of go over the field, and that's a good throw too. It looks like he's going to be able to break open, has enough space, but Mahomes doesn't account for the closing ability of Derek Stingley on this play. Look, there's too much separation already. It looks like between Rice and Derek Stingley, kind of as Mahomes is starting to make this throw. But the Stingley is able to close on this so quickly, and he gets his hands in there. Rice can't make the play. He can't bring home the catch, and Stingley is just kind of showing again how he's an all-pro, and you really just don't want to test him in these situations. So because of that rush, that coverage, I mean, because of that rush by the Texans defense, Mahomes never sees Kelce as kind of that open option downfield. And then because of Rashee Rice running across the field being that open option, but he's got Derek Stingley on him. Mahomes is really forced to throw that pass and isn't able to convert. So Kelce's probably the best option on this throw, but because of a couple other different factors, he's not able to see him. And ultimately, this play turns into great field position for the Texans offense, and ultimately leads to the Dare Gumbawale rushing touchdown that is the game-winning score from Sunday night's victory. So now we're going to see where the Texans get a little bit of help from both Mahomes and Kelce in an opportunity where Kelce can make a play. So this is the Azeez Al-Shaair interception that basically dashes all chances of victory for the Chiefs in this game and kind of dashes their playoff hopes, which is crazy to talk about with this iteration of the Chiefs team. But the Texans are going to be playing this cover two coverage with Kelce running an out or a corner route, and he gets good separation on this. So watch Azeez Al-Shaair kind of covering Kelce in his cover two kind of underneath look. And Kelce does a good job of getting separation. He plays into Aziz's physicality, really kind of just gets that separation, good kind of break there. And there's really nothing to complain about for Patrick Mahomes either. So, Mahomes has a clean pocket here. He's not getting really rushed by the Texans' pressure at all. He has a clean pocket. He has that opportunity to kind of set his back foot and step up into this throw, make a solid throw. And, this is a throw that we've seen Patrick Mahomes make hundreds of times. And a throw that you're expecting a two-time MVP caliber player like Mahomes to make. But this throw is just really behind Kelce. He has to reach back and he's not able to bring in the catch, immediately. So, we've seen Mahomes come up in these situations, make big time throws, and when you need one in the situation, trailing by a touchdown, trying to drive your guys down the field, he's not able to make it. But so now we get to the catch, and Kelce is kind of just bobbling this ball around, not really able to bring it in. And Azeez Al-Shaair does a really good job of not giving up on this play, kind of using that swarm mentality to get to the ball, kind of being that relentless player that D'Amico Ryans preaches about. And what that does for him is that he's able to kind of deliver this blow to Travis Kelce here, really jar the ball loose, and he's able to kind of have the ball skills make up for kind of those coverage, coverage bust. It's not really a coverage bust. It's just a really good route by Travis Kelce, but make up for kind of losing him in coverage and picks off this ball and comes down with it and makes a really good turnover play by the Texans team. So this is just another example of the Texans kind of being that swarm unit, having that relentless kind of get to the ball attitude. And that really pays off for Azeez, creating this third turnover and really icing the game away for this Texans defense. So in the end, the Texans really brought it to Travis Kelce, and that's what kind of kept him quiet the entire night. He wasn't able to match the same physicality that the Texans were bringing, and that's what took him out of Patrick Mahomes' progressions a lot, kind of took away the chemistry that they were bringing, threw him off of his routes, and ultimately kept him to one catch for 8 yards. And by limiting his production, that kind of just took away a lot of what the Chiefs offense wants to do. It's taking away a safety valve for Patrick Mahomes in those critical situations, and also taking away a really good kind of scrambling option with that chemistry that him and Mahomes have when Mahomes is kind of extending those plays downfield. So that's really one of the biggest factors in how the Texans defense was able to have success against Patrick Mahomes, and was by taking Travis Kelce out of the game on Sunday night. And, the Texans defense has shown that they can do this to, premier Hall of Fame caliber players now. So there's really just not a whole ton that's stopping this Texans defense. Maybe some scrambling that Patrick Mahomes was doing, but they're playing like the best unit in the league. They've proclaimed themselves as the best unit in the league, and it's really hard to argue with them right now as to why they wouldn't be. So really good stuff, and really just a dominant performance against the Chiefs' best players on Sunday night to announce that the Texans are here to stay. So thank you so much for watching. Please go take a look at my full written film review for the Houston Chronicle. Appreciate you guys reading. Appreciate you guys watching. And I'm looking forward to doing another one of these next week with the Texans kind of rolling and making this playoff push here. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it as always, and I'll see you next week.